On September 4th, 2011, we flew to Alaska. First with the Swiss International Airlines from Zurich to Frankfurt, and then with the Condor airline from Frankfurt to Anchorage. We had a wonderful flight and arrived after 11 hours at our destination. On television, we have seen once a very interesting movie where huge bears at the Brooks River in Alaska were fishing salmon and even stood on the Brooks waterfall and snatched the salmons from the air. We were very impressed and we decided to visit these bears and to make a film and photographs. Arrived in Alaska, we first explored the area of Anchorage and were deeply impressed by this vast country, the beautiful nature, the animals and mountains. A beautiful rainbow led us to the Thunderbird Fall at the Old Glen Highway. But as children of the Rhine, who grew up at the Rhine Fall, the biggest waterfall of Europe, we were frankly disappointed by this small stream fall. Therefore, we decided to seek the famous animals of Alaska. And we found some. First, we could observe a trumpet swan pair in courtship in a swampy area. Then we got a moose, a beautiful wapiti deer, and 2 musk oxen in front of the lens. After 4 days stay in Anchorage, the journey has been going on. First, we flew with a regional plane of Pen Air to the small town of King Salmon with only about 400 inhabitants. We passed the beautiful mountains of the Alaska Range and had a clear view to Mount Redoubt. It is an active stratovolcano in the largely volcanic Aleutian Range and covered with glaciers. With 3,108 meters, it is the highest mountain in the Aleutian Range. After a short stay, we flew with a seaplane of Katmai Air from King Salmon to our final destination, the Brooks Lodge at the Naknek Lake. Alaska is an Arctic wilderness, and for many places there are no roads or ferries. It is the realm of air taxis and bush pilots. They are transporters for people and goods and perform also rescue flights. The pilots are highly trained, and because they often have to perform risky and dangerous missions, they have extensive experience to fly seaplanes. We were very impressed of our bush pilot and his calmness and professionalism. After a short flight, we landed safely on the Naknek Lake and tied the plane near the Brook Lodge. But a huge surprise was waiting for us. We could not get out of the plane because two powerful brown bears found under our plane the remains of a salmon. As the bears have disappeared in the forest, we were allowed to leave the plane in order to participate an hour of training in the camp on how to behave when you unexpectedly meet a bear, and also to relate our log home. We could not wait. We shouldered the cameras and went out in the afternoon on our first bear exploring. Our seaplane flew back, and we have already had the first of these famous brown bears at the Brooks River in front of our camera lenses. The bears in this area are no grizzly bears. The grizzlies live in the inside of the country, but they are large coastal brown bears. The bears are preparing themselves for their winter sleep and need to eat as much fat, protein and minerals as possible by catching fatty salmons. It's incredible, but a bear can eat 8 and more salmons a day. From June to October, the rivers here are full of salmon that come from its multi-year journey through the oceans back to their birthplace, to spawn and to die. Now, the bears live in abundance and therefore have a good chance to survive in this Arctic wilderness. In winter, when they sleep, it can become as cold as -45 degrees centigrade. It has always gulls, magpies and other birds near the bears. It always falls somewhat for these opportunists. Now the gull caught a bite. Bears are actually loners, but because in the Brooks River there is so much food, about 50 bears live in a confined area and space battles are quite frequent. Here, 2 males come close, but they give way to themselves. The risk of injury is too big and they cannot afford it. In class, we learned that you should always keep 50 meters distance to males and at least 100 meters to females with cubs. And here the magpie picks at the fish head. When we wanted to go out again the next morning, a huge bear has blocked the exit of the camp. We had to wait almost an hour until he got up and gone away. If we want to see the brook falls, we have to walk about 2 kilometers a track through a forest where about 50 bears are around. Here you can see us walking on the track leading to the brook's fall. We must be very cautious and make noise, loud talking, singing or clapping the hands so that the bear is aware that someone is nearby. But now there are so many fish in the river that they can eat as much as they want. They patrol the riverbanks up and down and look for their food there. This is the Brook's Fall. It is famous because in summertime the bears stand on the waterfall and catch the salmons, which have to jump on their way to their spawning grounds over the waterfall from the air. Unfortunately, the salmons no longer jump in September, and I was not able to film this spectacle. The Brook's Fall is occupied by 2 giant bears. In the middle of the square sits the top dog, the dominant male, and does not allow other bears in the vicinity. Now there is doom approaching from the forest. A large male is coming down the acclivity and wants to fish salmons in the waterfall. But he makes a big bow around the dominant male. But this one has still something about it and chases the intruder away from the place. Another hunter, a bald eagle, sits high on a pine tree and watches sharply the water below him. Now he has discovered a fish and plunges into the water. He has caught the big fish, too big to fly away with him, so he pulls him up the embankment. But why does he let the fish go and even give him a push? Now it is clear why. The bear has espied that the bald eagle has caught a fish and now snaps him off the booty. But this fish is not a salmon, and the bear cannot easily remove the skin. And in one fell swoop the fish got away. The bear looks for him everywhere, but he is gone. Both the bear and the eagle go back frustrated to their observation posts. The eagle has to dry its feathers. And the other bear has also got his salmon meal. When bears are satisfied, then they eat from the salmon merely the skin, the brain, and from females the eggs, because there is the most fat, proteins and minerals retained. The rest of the salmon they dump in the river. It seems that this bear is a little afraid of water. The bear has really only two enemies, the human being and other bears. However, specifically at risk are young bears. They are often killed and eaten by older males. That's why female bears with cubs are always very cautious and often aggressive. Towards evening at 4 o'clock, when most bears have satisfied their hunger and have retreated to the woods, this mother bear has emerged with the two cubs to fish. She has to be very cautious because the little ones are at risk, because there are still some bears in the vicinity. The magpies follows them in the hope that it may be anything left for them. On our way home, we came surprisingly very close to the mother with the cubs. In Alaska, you can see fishermen at the rivers, but they are experienced and know exactly how they must behave towards the bear. They have to cut their caught salmon from the line and left it to the bear. On the day of our return flight, there was so stormy weather that our seaplane could not land in the Naknek Lake, and we had to wait. This gave us some extra time to say goodbye to the two little bears. We had to wait 4 hours and to drive to the Lake Brooks. The seaplane airport there is better wind protected and has lower waves. Finally, our Katmai air taxi arrives.
Ah ja, schau dann.
One of those 3 names, there's another plane for you.
The pilot was very tense because of the stormy weather, and he told me not to film during the flight. And it was really a very bumpy flight. At Kuliklodge, we had to change the aircraft again and flew back to Anchorage with many beautiful memories and experiences.